So first thing I'm going to do is, if you haven't had a chance to actually see physically and hold the Hope booklet, whatever that the Korean patient group produces, I really encourage you to come and actually take a look at the real thing. It's such an item of beauty to hold in your hand, and I think it's well worth taking a look at these not documents, but these brochures, to see I think it really raises the bar in terms of the professionalism and clearly passion that goes into the production of these books. So I'm going to leave a few copies at the front here. So if you just want to take a couple of minutes just to have a look at these things, it's really very, very inspiring. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Get rid of that. Okay, so next thing, feedback. The forms in your packs are very, very important to us, and please make sure that you fill them in while your thoughts are fresh in your mind. I know that probably, the last thing you really want to do is to take the time to kind of fill in a form right now, but the importance of this while you're here is because the thoughts are fresh in your mind, and you will remember things better now than you might do over the course of the next few days. On the other hand, there may be things that occur to you on the way home. Once you've got home, once you've reflected, maybe once you've looked through the reams of notes that you've been scribbling down. And of course, that feedback is equally important to us. So please do not hesitate to send your thoughts, however quick, however long, that you have to us, and we would seriously appreciate that. But please do fill in the forms and let Lydia or Vanya have them before you leave. So, I've only got 2-3 pages to go through here, so lunch beckons, I know. Next job, poster competition. Drum roll. Blah, blah, blah. That's it. Okay. I'm not going to go through in detail every entry here. In third place, MPN Canada. Come on up, Cheryl. Who's collecting on the behalf of MPN Canada? Congratulations, well done. In second place, I can sense the tension in the room. In second place, Flute of Light from Israel. And in first place, and before I award the first place prize, Robbie, here's your prize. Now, before I award the... yeah. Now, before I award the first place prize, I do this every year, but informally we call this the Franz Pross Award, and it's in memory of a colleague of ours who helped start MPN Advocates a number of years ago. His journey ended before he was able to see the results of all of this, and we always give the poster award in his honor. So this is the Franz Pross Award, and this year it goes to the patient advocacy group from Thailand. Now, forgive me for adding a joke in at this point, but the Thailand poster was entitled Starting from Scratch. Now, I don't know if this was a reference to aquagenic pruritus or not. Anyway, I thought it was a brilliant poster, and congratulations. How many people got the joke about aquagenic pruritus? Some of you, anyway. Good. Right. So the main job here is to say thank you. Okay. I think it's a genuinely inspiring event to see everybody here. And it seems like a small thing, and I know I've said this before in previous years, but it seems like a small thing, but I think it embodies the first idea that Peter, I, and Franz had when we first got together to talk about this, was when you walk into the breakfast room, when you walk into the coffee breakout room, when you see people chatting between each other over dinner, more than all the amazing presentations that we've seen, more than the effort that everybody's put into the sort of the formal parts of this, it's the connections that we are making between each other that make this an actual network, the actual work part of the network. And that for us, for the organizers, is the most inspiring thing to see. And I genuinely hope that it doesn't only take place in this room, in these restaurants, in these settings once a year, but you continue to strengthen and use those connections between you all. And I'd just like to briefly mention that before we go into the sort of more formal thank you part of this. I've changed around the order a bit to the way I talked about this at the opening on, seems like a long time ago now, on Friday. So firstly, to the speakers. Such a variety of styles and approaches to the presentations that we've seen this weekend. I really, really appreciate that. I think that the genuine quality of the presentations goes up every year, but the variety, I think, is one of the strengths of what we do here. We've had everything from really scary photographs to simply people standing up and talking to us without any slides at all. And I really, really like that sort of flexibility and variety of the way that people choose to share their insights and their thoughts with us. It's quite a big deal to stand up on this stage and talk to a group like this, and to answer the great questions that we've had. And it's also a very rewarding job. So if any of you have been thinking over the course of the few days, yeah, there's maybe something that I'd like to share with the rest of the group, please think harder about that and send us your suggestions, and we'd be more than happy to help you develop that and get over the barrier to come up and stand here in front of you. For somebody like me that spends literally their whole working life doing this sort of thing, it's not that hard, but I definitely appreciate the effort that goes into the presentations that we've had this weekend. Now, the second one is, again, thanks to you guys, to the delegates, to the people who've come here. It's a massive deal to give up 4 or 5 days of your lives to come here, to get on a plane, to make the effort to come and listen to all of this and to make those connections. But as I've said before, the buzz that we get as the organisers is seeing those connections being formed and being strengthened every year, and that's what makes it a genuine network. Next, I'd like to extend my thanks to the steering committee. The planning for Horizon starts at least 9 months. Actually, it really starts when we start reading the feedback that you give us. And then we get together and think about that more formally, and we think about ideas, how we can build on what we've done this year and previous years, and the work then goes on steadily with increasing intensity and busyness towards the next event. And it's a massive, massive thing to commit to doing that. And I would like to thank all of the members of the steering committee for their passion, their energy, their work, their thoughts. It's a huge thing to contribute to, and I personally want to extend my thanks to all of you. You know what you've done over the course of the last 9 months or so, and in case you don't know, I'd like to thank you all for everything that you've done. Now, of course, none of this happens without quite a bit of money. And therefore, my next thank you is to our sponsors. It's a huge thing to convince your board that it's worth spending the money on something like this. I hope that will continue, obviously, but I do appreciate the not just the money itself, but the intellectual input that it takes to secure that money. Having worked in different industries myself, I know that's a big deal itself. Going back to your bosses and saying, this is an event I think we should support, this is an effort we should support, that's a big thing, as well as, of course, the money itself. Once again, Novartis, as our platinum sponsor, who have been here with us from the very, very beginning. They've been amazing, and I'm sure it's been instrumental in our other sponsors coming on board. So I'd obviously also like to thank Celgene and to Insight and to CTI and to AOP Orphan, particularly obviously to the newcomers to our sponsor group. I'd like also to say that it's not only the money. The money's really important, and obviously it wouldn't happen without that. But the kind of the guidance, the input, the advice, the wise words that go into the planning of the event and during the course of the event, this is also seriously appreciated. And please continue to tell us what you think, to give us thoughts, etc. That's a very important part of the sponsorship role. So thank you for that. Now, lastly and crucially, I'd like to congratulate the on-site organising team. As usual, I think Lydia and Vanya have done an amazing professional job. Really, really helped the whole thing run extremely smoothly. From the moment that we got off the plane and came through the baggage hall, and we were met and we were delivered safely to the hotel, and everything that's happened ever since. Thank you very, very much, ladies. Now, none of that would happen without a certain guy who makes his presence known. He hasn't been on the stage that much over the course of the weekend. But Giora Scharf was the original instigator of the whole Horizons concept, and it's our flagship event that happens every year. But without his energy, his input, his ongoing enthusiasm for it all, and his knowledge, it would absolutely never have happened, and it would not continue to happen. Now I know that Giora has told me that he would like to say a few remarks of his own. So while he comes up to the stage, can you please give him a big round of applause?
Thank you, John, and thanks, everybody. Yeah, I admit this is the 22nd Horizon that I either participate and mostly organize. 18 CML Horizon and few CLL and MPN Horizon, and this is the fourth one. I think this is the only Horizon that I come on stage only at the closing of the meeting. This has never happened, but I'm really happy for that. So I elected to come here, first of all, because somebody asked me yesterday, how is it to organize a Horizon meeting? And I think the answer was that it's like I get one of my son or daughter get married. You prepare and you work for months, and then without blink, the whole event is finished. And this is exactly what happens with Horizon. You start, like John said, we started in collecting the feedback last year in September, and since then we started working on Horizon. And but still, I know the value of this meeting for each one and one of them. Of you, sorry, and that's why I think I continue to do that. And you all know, and I came up here also to thank you for all the wishes you extended to me for my birthday today. And I really appreciate each one and one of you. I must admit that starting from midnight last night until now, my phone has not stopped with all the ringing and WhatsApp messages of coming from all over the world. Well, after 20 years of advocacy, I do have close friends all around the world. Of course, the most important one and the close one, my family, my children, my wife, and who are home, which will get to see me tomorrow. But I think I have two special thanks that I received during the day. The first one was from my doctor in Germany, who treats me now for 20 years. And if he has not accepted me to the clinical trial, I would not be here today. So I was really moved by his thanks, happy birthday wishes today. And I think the one that moved me most, it's not one, it's many, many ones. It's a lot of messages from the patients, from the one that we work and support back home. Messages for CML patients, MPN patients, lymphoma patients, all the patients we work for and we give help and support. The messages like you are our lighthouse, the one that shows us the way. Without you, we would not have the strength and power to deal with the disease and fight all the side effects. So this, I think, something that each one and one of you are doing back home and your work and the daily work. And you don't always get the opportunity to get thanked by the patients and for the work that you do. But I do want you to know and to feel that without you, the patients would be lost. And I mean it. I see it in my country, and I'm sure it happens in your country too. So I want to thank you, each one and one of you, for the great work that you do. And have a safe travel home. Thank you.
Peter's just whispered to me that he'd like to say something.
Yeah, normally the organization of this steering committee of a horizontal meeting, besides of the input from Gore and from our members of the steering committee, you need a person who is doing things physically. And this has normally, until last one, it has been done by two persons. Due to a change which we had in the steering committee, this work fall back basically on one person, which is Cheryl. And I really wanted to give a special thank to her. She has spent hundreds of hours to get this thing done, and it was certainly not easy, but I said it normally it was done with two persons. This year we have been doing it in one, and I think the result was excellent. Thank you, Cheryl.
And I think that is it. Is there anything else I need to say, guys? Feedback forms. Yes, that's the last thing. Okay, so thank you again, everybody. Safe travel home. It's been another... Oh, I knew I was going to forget something.
The city tour, what time? 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock, yeah, 5 minutes to 3 in the lobby, please.
Please be in the lobby at 5 to 3 for your city tour. Thank you again, everybody. Safe journey home, and best wishes to everybody.